Hey guys, what's up? It's Blake. So, last December, I talked about the rise, fall, and return of Big Time Rush, and if you couldn't tell by my attire, we're going to talk about them again today. Last time I suggested what they should and shouldn't do for their return. First, I want to talk about what I wanted BTR to do. I mainly said that BTR should focus more on new music instead of rebooting the old TV show, and they've done just that, with new singles and acoustic versions of their older songs. They also have full creative control, as their new music says, bought the rights. Very clever. Now what has BTR been up to? They had 4 December comeback shows, and they went good, with a few missteps here and there. Philadelphia, Chicago, and Atlanta went great, but when they got to New York, Kendall tested positive for COVID, and he wasn't in the show. The show still happened, but I bet it was disappointing for the audience. But honestly, it was the right thing to do, as postponing the show would delay their plans when they could be recording, so it was good on them. February the 1st, they had something called the Big Time Rush Fan Club membership that gives you pre-sale access to headline shows and an exclusive gift. How much was it? It was almost $100. You have to be an absolute goddamn idiot to buy that. Now, I didn't say it was a bad idea. On February 21st, they performed on Good Morning America with their new song, Not Giving You Up, and announced the Big Time Rush Forever Tour, a full comeback tour. February 24th, they released the new single, Not Giving You Up. On February 26th, there was a short promotional video called The Big Time Relationship Services, an infomercial-type sketch that relates to advertising Not Giving You Up and the Forever Tour. It was a real phone number that you could call. It was basically just voice recordings, but it was still pretty cool. On March 10th, the guys started a podcast called BTR Behind the Record, where they talk about their writing process in their new songs. They've talked about Call It Like I See It and Not Giving You Up. March 9th, they had a Q&A.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hearing us answer these questions.
And don't ask any more.
Wait, one more time. I was on my phone.
Thank you guys.
March 11th, they held the Reddit AMA for some reason. I don't know why they couldn't just use Twitter, but March 17th, tickets for shows in Mexico went on sale for August, and they all sold out. Not Giving You Up music video released on March 30th. Then on March 31st, they released Not Giving You Up Acoustic. Also on March 31st, I went to a hockey game, and I heard some familiar music. I tweeted about it, and I still can't believe Kendall retweeted my post. I flipped out the entire night. April 15th, they released an acoustic version of Music Sounds Better With You. On April 26th, they announced a performance at the iHeartRadio daytime show on September 24th. May 27th, they released Worldwide Acoustic, which was the first song they ever did when they announced their comeback. And remember in my last video about Big Time Rush when I talked about the song Love Me Again? Long story short, the one that's released on the album 24/7 is the Nickelodeon approved version. The original was deemed a little bit inappropriate, and it was leaked online, which is dubbed the Love Me Again demo. Well, on June 1st, on their TikTok,
Baby, when the night is done, I'll let you go. But I promise you'll be back for more. I wanna touch you like I did before. So baby, take my hand, take my hand. Oh.
Any confessions?
I said touch.
I said both.
I said touch.
I said touch.
I said touch.
June 9th, they released a new single called Fall, with the music video being released on June 10th. June 10th, they also announced that they'll be playing in Atlantic City on July 3rd. June 21st, they announced that they'll be releasing a new single called Honey, releasing on June 30th. And on July 28th, I'll be at the Minnesota Armory, not only to see my first Big Time Rush concert, but to meet Big Time Rush themselves. I'm super excited, so I decided to rewatch every episode of Season 1 and review them, with an episode synopsis, basic review, and 3 different ratings that I can give the episodes. If the episode is good, if the episode is meh, it'll get
Nah.
if the episode is bad,
It's a big time dump.
Song debut is if a song is first performed in the episode, it can't be played in the background. Favorite quote is just favorite line or joke that I thought. It doesn't have to be said by one direct character. And favorite moment is just what I thought the best part of the episode was. If you've never seen this show, or you're living under a rock, then there's going to be many WTF moments for you. So just steer clear of spoilers and such if you really care. So, for those of you who have seen the show, sit back and relax because this is every episode of Big Time Rush Season 1 reviewed. Big Time Audition. Right off the bat, we meet the 4 high school hockey players, Kendall, James, Logan, and Carlos. We already see their personalities right away. Kendall is optimistic. James is fame crazy and full of himself. Logan is smart, but pessimistic and panics under pressure. Carlos is the wild and crazy guy. And the guys are planning a prank at the school, but they get chased and beat up.
Time in.
After all that, they watch MTV and see a commercial for a record producer, Gustavo Rock, and his talent scout, Kelly Wainwright, who's holding auditions to find their next talent. The guys get to the audition, but since James is nervous, the other 3 guys audition as well. But the auditions before them are pretty stellar. Carlos has the best one, though.
Not going to Hollywood.
When James auditions, Gustavo says that James has no talent. Kendall stands up for James by making fun of Gustavo and singing one of his older songs. They get kicked out of the audition, but are later visited by Gustavo, who thinks Kendall has the real talent. Kendall declines, but after talking it over with the other guys, they make a deal with Gustavo.
No way! Gustavo Rock is taking the 4 dogs from Minnesota to Los Angeles to make them stars. It's never gonna happen! Never!
So, we have a deal.
Yep.
All 4 of them sign a 3-month deal, move to LA, and become a band. The guys later learn that they have 3 days to prove themselves to the record company, and if they fail, Rock Records will be shut down and the guys have to move back to Minnesota.
You guys ready to be stars?
Yeah.
Good. Then prove to me you can be stars. We have 3 days to prove to this record company that there's something, anything here.
Well, 3 days. What happened to 3 months?
The guys go through what Gustavo calls boy band boot camp, where the bands get to learn their good looks, dance moves, and songs.
We look good.
We look like Uncle Sam threw up on us.
Also, when Gustavo tells the guys what song they're gonna sing, it sounds a little bit familiar.
It's a song about no matter what time of day it is. Don't you know it's girl time?
The only life you got, so you gotta live it big time.
The guys take boot camp as seriously as they can, so not much.
And he is just plain awful.
But after they get fired and regroup, they decide that if they don't take it seriously, they can lose a huge opportunity. So they go back to the studio to impress Arthur Griffin, the owner of Rock Records, where they obviously succeed and form the band Big Time Rush.
I like him, and the board's gonna love him.
Episode rating. Song debut, BTR theme. Favorite moment is the ending montage when they perform the theme song. One of their most iconic songs. Favorite quote.
Opportunities like this come once in a lifetime.
Big Time School of Rock. The guys think being in a pop band is like vacation.
Real funny. Now where's the free hair gel?
How sweet is this? It's like a vacation with singing. It's a singcation.
But Kelly informs them that they have to go to school. The Palmwoods have their own school, but they have to go to school at Rock Records, since they're closer to work. So the guys try to get rid of their teachers that Gustavo hires.
It's the only life you got, so you gotta live it big time.
Now this is where the episodes have subplots where the characters split up into their own plot lines. The A plot is the guys at school, and the B plot has Katie and Mrs. Knight trying to get Katie into the Palmwood school. But in order to do so, Katie needs to have an acting gig. So they try to book commercial auditions.
When you smell garbage, it's this commercial.
Excuse me?
This stuff is nothing but a heart attack that goes good with dip. I'd be better off stepping in front of a bus of lard. Katie!
The guys get 3 of their teachers to quit, and Gustavo tells the guys that he has a book of 10,000 teachers he can call, and he ends up hiring Chris the Masterpiece Masters. They hatch a plan and try to get rid of him. When that fails, they read the ASPA handbook and see if there's a bunch of rules Gustavo isn't following, like storage for personal items, class outside, and sports. The guys get yelled at by Gustavo and they show him the rules. They finally break Gustavo by having a goat for the school mascot and having a basketball game in the studio. Gustavo gives in and the guys get to go to the Palmwood school, where they get detention the first day. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
You can't give up your dream. I mean, sure, you may be too old for a boy band, but you are perfect for a
a man band.
Yes.
Which is all the rage these days, right?
Favorite moment when the guys go to the Palmwood school and end up getting detention. This episode also has 2 new characters, being Mr. Bitters, the Palmwood's building manager, and Miss Collins, the Palmwood's teacher. Big time crib. The guys aren't too thrilled about their apartment, so when they ask Mr. Bitters if they can move out and get a new apartment, he says that their current apartment is just fine.
2J, a dump?
And they can't make any renovations due to their lease. When they go to Rock Records and see that the marketing team wants them to be in what they call the ultimate teen hangout crib for a few hours to shoot a music video to impress the company founder Fujizaki and the company that owns Rock Records, RCM CBT GlobalNet Sanyon Corporation, so Griffin wants them to do interviews and a music video while advertising the company products that are in the ultimate teen hangout crib. They have 2 days or the music division is gone. The guys think of a plan for the ultimate teen hangout crib to be built in their apartment. They hire Camille to act as an employee at Rock Records to tell the construction crew to move everything to the Palmwoods. They get Katie's help to plan and distract Gustavo doing interviews near the Palmwoods pool instead of a backdrop. James stalls Gustavo while doing interviews. Camille, Carlos, and Katie use power tools to trick Kelly so she won't know that the set isn't being done in the studio. Kendall and Logan make sure the construction crew goes to 2J, while also hiring the Jennifers to distract Bitters. Plans fall through when Carlos's power tools die, and Kelly gets security. Kendall and Logan are told to do their interviews while warning James about Bitters. He suits up as Bandana Man, and distracts Bitters by locking him in a supply closet. Kelly gets security and calls Gustavo to see the new set in 2J. So the plan worked, but once they're done shooting the video, the set is taken away, and they get their old crappy 2J apartment back. The next day, Fujizaki sees the video and decides to keep the music division. Gustavo makes the guys work 10 hours with no breaks. But when they get back to 2J, they see that the ultimate teen hangout crib is back and theirs to keep. Episode rating. Favorite quote?
All you've done is set us up for big time trouble.
Favorite moment? James stalling Gustavo.
Where'd you get the bandana?
A waffle? No thanks. I already ate.
Big time bad boy. The guys are told by Gustavo that the band is missing a bad boy and thinks it should be Kendall. The guys ask why they need a bad boy in the band, and Gustavo said that Griffin wants him, as the previous bands had bad boys, but Kendall refuses while James, Carlos, and Logan try to be bad.
Really? A grill? Logan!
You like that? You like that? You like that?
No!
Hey, it's Logan now!
One more time. I was on my phone.
Well, Kendall is still told he's the bad boy.
Okay, so Kendall is the bad boy.
Kendall refuses because he doesn't want anything fake about the band. Griffin then adds a 5th member to the band who is a bad boy, named Wayne Wayne. The guys hate him and want to kick him out. Kendall tells the guys if they're going to get rid of Wayne Wayne that they have to work together. Wayne Wayne tells the guys that Griffin can make it, so there's only 4 in the band, wanting to have Kendall kicked out. Camille tells the guys that Wayne Wayne is an actor named Wally Dooley, and once the guys tell Gustavo, he'll kick him out, but Griffin is the only one who can decide who gets kicked out, when everyone has their money on Logan being kicked out.
My money's on Logan. Mean. Wayne is a total fraud. He wants to kick Kendall out of the band.
Really? I'm gonna bet on Logan.
Well, you would have lost.
What are we waiting for? I'm antsy.
We're missing Kendall.
So you got rid of Kendall. My money was on Logan.
Why does everyone keep saying that?
They tell Gustavo that Wayne Wayne is a fake, but Gustavo says that he has to do what Griffin says, because the band is his last ticket to get back to the top. Gustavo is ready for Griffin to hear the new song when Kendall shows up as a bad boy.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Are you wearing eyeliner?
Challenging Wayne Wayne to...
Ooh, it's a bad boy off!
Said I'm Wayne on the mic, I'm badder than bad. I said the city is ours, we're gonna take it like a bad!
Man, your rhymes are weak. Mine fit like a glove. Gustavo's got a face only a mother could love.
Kendall wins by destroying Gustavo's office, and they kick Wayne Wayne out of the band, revealing that Gustavo was in on the guy's plan to kick him out anyway.
You! Nice work.
Wayne Wayne ends up being in a new band, in a kids show.
He is really bad.
Now the B-plot. Mrs. Knight encourages Katie to find a friend her age at the Palmwood, a new girl named Molly, who Katie rejects and thinks that she's super creepy. Mrs. Knight argues that Katie is being too much judgmental, only for Mrs. Knight and Katie to see a guy wielding an axe and throwing bodies in the dumpster. Katie finds out from the police that the axe maniac in the Palm Woods is the maintenance man, Buddha Bob, who's actually cutting a jelly donut with an axe, throwing mannequins away. Katie convinces Mrs. Knight that the maniac is the maintenance man by unplugging the cable to fix it, and Mrs. Knight knocks him down with a frying pan instead.
Flawless victory.
After all that, they see Wayne's new band. Kendall then points out that Molly is driving Mrs. Knight's rental car. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
Who's Wayne?
Favorite moment. The bad boy off.
He destroyed my office! My music awards! And he used my drawer as a bathroom!
Bad boys go where they want.
That's a new one.
Big time love song. In this episode, a new character is introduced. Joe Taylor, played by Caitlin Tarver. The guys fight over who gets asked her out first. Then Gustavo brings the guys to Rock Records to tell them that Griffin wants the guys to sing a new, slow love song. Gustavo also hired as a bodyguard / executive.
Okay, does anybody else notice the huge guy in the corner?
I do.
That is Freight Train, my new executive in charge of making people do what I say.
James gets allergies during the song, so Gustavo has Kelly take James to the doctor while Gustavo tries to fix the song. Kendall, Logan, and Carlos think of a way to ask out Joe. Logan brings up the fact from a magazine that 75% of girls like bad boys, which Carlos takes, while 100% aren't the guys with British accents that Logan takes. Kendall says he'll just be himself.
I'm gonna be myself.
That never works.
James goes to the doctor, where we're introduced to a new character, Doc Hollywood, who prescribes James an allergy shot, which he refuses. Mrs. Knight and Katie visit Rock Records since Katie has a report to give about reviewing someone who she admires, and she admires Gustavo, so she doesn't have to do a lot of reading.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Later, Kendall, Logan, and Carlos draw palm leaves to see who asks out Joe first. Carlos is the first, and when Joe says she hates bad boys, he steals Logan's bit. Logan is up next, but runs into Camille.
Oh! Camille! Not that.
Then when Kendall is up, Joe has already left.
Now it's my turn.
James admits that it's his fault that the song is terrible, then he goes to get the shot only to run off to the Palm Woods and ask Joe out, only to reveal that James is allergic because his Barracuda man spray. Kendall, Logan, and Carlos catch up with James, who leaves to go get his shot. Logan has a guitar dude play the new song to Joe by the pool, while Kendall and Carlos intervene, making guitar dude play the song fast. Joe is flattered and likes the song, but tells the guys that she has a boyfriend back home, and Gustavo realizes that the new song is a fast love song instead of a slow one. Griffin ends up liking the new song, Katie finishes her report on Gustavo, and the guys fight over another girl at the Palm Woods. Episode rating. Favorite moment? I'm actually kind of split on this one. They have a music video for Any Kind of Guy, and then they made an official music video, which is way better than the one in the episode. So I'm gonna have to say Logan's British accent, which goes into my favorite quote.
Poor old chap. He's in a bit of a sticky wicket.
And then obviously the song debut for this episode is Any Kind of Guy. Big Time Mansion. Gustavo needs to find someone to house sit for him at his mansion while him and Kelly go out of town to North Carolina, and he hires the guys last minute. He sets some house sitting rules for the guys, being don't enter the media room, don't open the living room fridge, don't sit on the $40,000 couch, and don't touch his hairless cat.
Do not touch my Peruvian hairless cat, Monty!
Ooh, I love cats.
Don't touch him!
I don't even like cats.
And if they fail and break all of his rules, he'll bring back a new band to replace them. And they obviously break all the rules. Gustavo and Kelly see a band named the Windmills who idolize Gustavo. At first Gustavo enjoys it, but then he can't stand it. Kelly gets him to admit that he likes the boys and needs them to argue with him and get in his face. Mrs. Knight realizes that Kendall is growing up and doesn't need to rely on her as much as he used to, so Katie fakes being sick to make Mrs. Knight feel needed. Gustavo tells the guys that he'll be back early, so the guys get help from Katie and Mrs. Knight to fix everything. When Kelly and Gustavo get back, Gustavo tells the boys that he's proud of them and appreciates all their hard work.
I like you.
We like you too. too.
Episode rating. Favorite quote.
Together we're 64. That's older than you. Maybe that is older than you, isn't it?
8.
Favorite moment. The guys mistakenly remembering Gustavo's rules.
Rule number 2. Help yourself to anything you want in my living room fridge.
That was not it.
Yes, it was.
Big time photo shoot. The episode starts off as a flashback as the guys are beaten up and they tell Camille what happened. The guys were playing hockey in the crib when Kelly tells them to get ready for a photo shoot for Pop Tiger magazine. Dax Zevon is also at Rock Records recording and his fans are waiting for him, even Katie. And if you remember from my previous BTR video, Kurt Hansen, who plays Dax Zevon, was the original actor who was going to play Kendall. Nice to see that they gave him a role. The guys go to the photo shoot where a new character, the photographer, Marcos Del Pozzi, who's insane.
So not like school picture day.
Oh! Are you ready to rock my camera?
What?
I said, are you guys ready to rock my... Hold on a minute. That's better. So...
Just as the picture is about to be taken, Gustavo and Kelly are arrested after destroying Matthew McConaughey's mailbox, which is actually a nice reference to the first episode.
You remind me a lot of Matthew McConaughey.
Awesome.
I can't stand Matthew McConaughey.
Griffin takes over for Gustavo and ruins everything. The guys try to distract Griffin and Marcos so they can take their own picture to give to the Pop Tiger messenger. There's 3 plots going on. The A plot with the guys in their photo shoot, the B plot involves Katie and Mrs. Knight trying to get Dax Zevon's autographed, and the C plot with Kelly and Gustavo escaping from their community service to get back to the photo shoot. Honestly, the only plot I enjoy is the A plot with the guys. And I always forget that this episode is a flashback. The episode ends by the guys' story ending, and on the other side of their poster has Dax Zevon. So with a 3-plot story and one that interests me, we have our first episode. Trust me, I really want to like this episode. But again, the only plot that's interesting is the guys. I feel like they threw the flashback idea in here just at the last minute. It's not a bad episode, it's not a good episode, it's just meh. Favorite quote?
I totally agree.
I totally don't care. Now!
Favorite moment? Marcos Del Pozzi. He's underrated. Big time break. The guys realize that they're starting to spend way too much time together, so they all split up and try to stay away from each other. Since the 4 guys go off into their own plots, I'll go one by one to make things less confusing. Kendall hangs out with Joe, but she reminds him that she has a boyfriend back home. So they spend the day together as friends.
I mean, what are we doing? Weights? Cardio?
But later, Katie overhears that Joe doesn't have a boyfriend and rather just put her career first and then a relationship. Kendall later asks Joe about her boyfriend and she lies, saying that he'll be visiting later. She hires an actor who forgets what to say and fires him. Kendall and Joe later agreed to go out. James decides that his day off could be used to take some acting auditions, since he believes that he belongs on the big screen. Camille is on her way to an audition for Witches of Rodeo Drive, which is probably a parody of Wizards of Waverly Place. And yet another Disney show I'm unfamiliar with. I'll add it to the list. Camille and James go to the audition, but when James gets the part and Camille doesn't, he decides the part isn't worth it and turns it down.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but it'll be totally irresponsible. Hey, where's my helmet? My helmet's gone. Logan, it's not up here. Help me find it. No.
Carlos is missing his helmet, and his dad, who's a police officer, played by Eric Estrada, who has played a police officer in the 1977 show Chips. They ask Mr. Bitters to see security footage to see who left the crib. Tyler, Lightning the Wonder Dog, Buddha Bob, and Mr. Bitters. But they all have things missing and find out it was Lightning who took everybody's stuff. And Logan, well, Logan wants to see a math lecture presented by his favorite math teacher, Phoebe Nashi, but the place she's presenting is at an all-girls school, so Logan gets kicked out.
Man, I wish it was a girl.
This show is ahead of its time. So since he's desperate to meet Phoebe, Mrs. Knight gets the idea to dress Logan up as a girl. Mrs. Knight tells Logan now that he's dressed as a girl, now Logan has to act like a girl. You know, I can't believe I'm saying this either.
How's it going? Hey, chillin', you know, doing my thing. Bleep, blap, bloop.
And that's the best quote of the episode right there. Logan passes the lobby test and goes to see the presentation, but he reveals that he's a boy and gets beaten and kicked out. Then at the end of the day, they all decide who gets to tell about their day first, and they all decide that Logan goes first.
Logan goes first.
Episode rating. Favorite moment. It's gotta be Logan's plot. Big time demos. The guys have been in LA for 3 months now, and Kelly hands them all plane tickets, telling them that if their demos don't get picked, that they have to go back to Minnesota. Gustavo tells them that Griffin has 6 bands to pick, and the main competition against Big Time Rush is a vampire-themed band called Vampira. Griffin's daughter Mercedes, who picks up the demos, likes the boys and chooses Kendall as her new boyfriend. But it turns out she's manipulative and spoiled, and dates Kendall Carlos until admitting that she's not the person who picks the demos, as a chimp named Lolo picks the demos. They kidnap Lolo to train him to pick Big Time Rush, having him listen to Big Time Rush in exchange for bananas. Lolo gets out of control and escapes. Griffin shows up with Lolo, and Lolo chooses Vampira. Mercedes argues that Lolo is wrong and that BTR is the better choice. Lolo gets demoted to Missile Defense, and Mercedes is promoted to Music Advisor and asked to date Logan. The guys sing a new song, Halfway There, and get to stay in LA. The subplot is that since the apartment has a 3-month lease from Rock Records, it's about to expire if the demo doesn't get picked. Mr. Bitters wants to move into their apartment, so the only way that the lease could be renewed is if Mrs. Knight got a job at the Palmwoods and got the employee discount. Coincidentally, the assistant manager quits, and Mrs. Knight takes the job, as Bitters gives her the toughest jobs to make her want to quit. But Mrs. Knight and Katie succeed. After BTR's demo gets picked, Kelly renews the lease for the apartment, and Mrs. Knight quits her job as assistant manager. Song debut, Halfway There. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
That you don't wait for your dreams to happen, you make them happen.
Favorite moment, Halfway There. Big Time Party. Gustavo throws a party celebrating the production of Big Time Rush's first album, but BTR themselves aren't invited. They want to throw their own party, but Mrs. Knight tells them that they've already gotten 2 strikes from Bitters. One for having a huge pillow fight in the lobby, and the second for putting a giant octopus in the pool. One more strike and they'll be kicked out of the Palmwoods. But since Mrs. Knight and Katie are leaving for San Diego, they decide to throw a social gathering and only invite a few guests. Carlos couldn't choose who to invite, so he accidentally invites everyone in his contacts. The party gets out of hand, so Kendall and Joe get to know each other.
So, you like hockey?
I hate hockey.
Okay.
They later have fun roaming the halls, keeping Bitters away from the real party. Carlos and James bring the party to the pool, which gets more out of hand as they want to be party kings and not party killers. Logan is hanging out with Camille and then sees that Mercedes is at the party, and since they're dating, Logan panics and tries to date them both. He hangs out with Camille and Mercedes separately, but when they both find out, they throw him in the pool. Mercedes breaks up with Logan, and Logan and Camille end up dancing. The B-plot shows how boring Gustavo's party is compared to the guys' party. Griffin tells Gustavo to lighten up the party as the founder, Fujizaki, is about to literally die of boredom.
And I'm going to play games on my phone.
Man, remember when mobile games were taken seriously and something to brag about? Now, no one really cares. Gustavo and Kelly then give up and move the party to the Palmwoods. James and Carlos successfully throw a great party as the Party Kings. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
Hey, have you seen Logan?
Sure, lots of times.
And a favorite moment, James and Carlos. Big time jobs. The guys have a race at the Palmwoods and break everything, costing over $2,000. Gustavo is tired of covering for them and instead tries to teach them a lesson by making them get jobs to pay back the debt. They're also banned from the Palmwoods pool, while Freight Train makes sure they stay away from the pool. Carlos works as Gustavo's assistant, and when he goes to get Gustavo a coffee, using the automatic coffee machine, it asks Carlos if he wants to add foam. Oh right, the machine is named Cal, played by Rob Paulson. Cal adds too much foam and becomes self-aware. Carlos brings Gustavo coffee while trying to cover up the mess. The machine can't even be unplugged or turned off, and it attacks Carlos with foam. Cal is so powerful, he wants to cover the earth with foam. Kelly finds out what's happening and helps Carlos defeat Cal. James sees an ad to become the new Cuda Man Spray model and hires Katie as his manager, but at the gig he gets out handsomed and loses his dream gig. Katie later lands him a gig for a Cuda product as an elbow model. Kendall and Logan try to work as sign spitters, but they get fired and try to find a new job. But when they get asked by a neighbor if they can babysit, they end up running a babysitting service, but it ends up being tougher than it sounds, as the kids overthrow Kendall and Logan.
And they won't nap, and they tie us up, and they are evil!
When Mrs. Knight tells them that they need to keep the kids occupied, they think of a way to keep the kids occupied while making money. So they have the kids wash cars, and then when the kids get picked up, they act like nothing happened. All of the guys get paid and they learn their lesson, but end up getting in trouble when an angry mob demands to get paid for the foam cleanup, no coffee maker, James's hair and styling, Palmwood soap and towels, and a city fine, adding up to $14,089. Gustavo loses his shit and breaks even more stuff until being busted by Griffin, and they all end up running a car wash to build up the money. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
Alright, and if you ever need babysitting again,
Please call somebody else.
Favorite moment. Logan and Kendall at their sign spinning job. Big time blogger. The first BTR album comes out in 3 months and they need to get publicity on the internet. Gustavo and Kelly give them video cameras, which they end up destroying. They instead are told they'll be interviewed on a blog called A Day with Deke, hosted by Deke, whose words can impact their future. But during their day with Deke, they can't be themselves, so they go through training and are told how to act and answer questions. After 5 minutes with Deke, he writes a bad review of BTR, saying BTR is a fake band and telling his fans to not buy their album. The guys all ask Deke to reconsider the interview, and he says no, leading James to panic and lock him in a supply closet. Logan and Carlos disconnect the internet, leading Deke to escaping through the air ducts so he can find a wired connection to post his blog. So the guys decide that maybe Deke is right and that they're acting fake, so they let him go and finish his blog. The guys are about to tell Gustavo and Kelly that their day with Deke didn't go so well. As they read the blog, it goes from a negative review to a positive one, ending with Deke telling fans to buy the new album. There are 2 more plots to this episode, one with Katie and Bitters and one with Gustavo and Kelly. I'll start with the first one. Bitters and Katie keep making bets, and Katie keeps winning. Bitters tries to win the bets while Katie wins as fast as she can, so she can work on her own blog. She ends up losing, betting that she can throw water balloons and not get a drop on Bitters, but she already made a bet with the kids in the lobby, so she gets money from that. The C plot involves Gustavo telling Kelly that he got the guys' Scuttlebutter accounts, which is basically Twitter, but he'll be posting on their accounts. Gustavo sent a tweet saying I hate Brussels sprouts, but accidentally types in I hate Brussels, the capital of Belgium. And then an angry mob of Belgians, including a Jean-Claude Van Damme parody, rallies against Gustavo, protesting the release of the BTR album. Episode rating. This is kind of the same issue I had with Big Time Photo Shoot, only the guys' plot were interesting to me, the other ones were just kind of boring. So this is another meh episode. Sorry guys. Favorite quote?
We are 4 Anakins who went to the dark side.
Not exactly, but I can make this work.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Also, other Star Wars fans will notice a particular actor in this episode.
Carlos, violence is never the answer. The correct answer is 7.
That's freaking Ahmed Best right there.
Misako Jaja Binks.
Favorite moment? The guys training for their day with Deke. Big time terror. The guys are chilling out by the pool with everyone, and they see a table move and the door shut, making Carlos believe it was a ghost, while Logan tells him that ghosts aren't real. Gustavo shows up, and he says that he has to spend the night with the guys because his mansion is flooded. They ask why he can't stay at a hotel, and it's because he's been banned from several hotels in LA. Okay, who the hell even makes these fake-ass controllers for movies and TV? The N64 controller looks legit, the Game Boy looks a bit too chunky, and has some plugins at the top, 2 generic PS1 controllers that you see on generic gamer merch, and they never had wireless PS1 controllers. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Gustavo asks the guys what they normally do when they aren't at the studio, and also why is it that this shot it's day, but it's supposed to be night? Gustavo ruins the guys' fun by having too much fun, but when they all go to sleep, the guys see that Gustavo snores really loud and yells in his sleep.
Oh, these? Sorry, I gave my other pair to Katie.
do it the way I say! We have got to do something. Not that!
If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye?
The guys try to sleep in the lobby, but they run into Bitters, who tells the guys to keep quiet about the Palmwoods ghost, because if people are convinced that there's a ghost, they'll leave, only for the 5 of them to run into the ghost. The next day, the guys try to kick out Gustavo, but he asks them what they have planned. Carlos is planning to film in the lobby for the ghost, and Logan goes with him to prove that there isn't a ghost. James and Kendall go to the pool, but Gustavo ruins their fun again. Carlos and Logan film in the lobby, while Bitters tells the residents that the Palmwoods isn't haunted. Logan tries to disprove them both, and they see a ghost. Gustavo overstays his welcome, and Kendall and James tell Gustavo that he should be home. Gustavo instead moves his things into the apartment. The next morning, Gustavo says that his mansion still is flooded, and Kendall and James try to think of a plan to get rid of him. By talking to Kelly, they find out that his mansion has been fixed for days. Apparently, Gustavo is being so obnoxious because as a kid he played piano and didn't get to play outside as much. Kelly says that they shouldn't feel bad because they need to get Gustavo home so he can write more songs for the new album. Kendall and James ask Logan and Carlos for help, but they're still busy catching the ghost. Kendall and James try to sing a song to make Gustavo write a better song, but he ignores them. Carlos, Logan, and Bitters sleep in the lobby to keep an eye out for the ghost. Kendall and James plan to roll Gustavo onto a stretcher and roll him back to his mansion, but that plan fails too. Carlos, Logan, and Bitters see the ghost and run away, then run into Kendall and James. Once the guys regroup, they realize their plans aren't working because they aren't working together. So they first plan to catch the ghost together, by using vacuums and Logan as bait. They see the ghost and the typical Scooby-Doo chase ensues. It turns out that the ghost is a new girl, Stephanie King, who's making a low-budget horror movie. They agree not to tell anyone if she helps the guys scare Gustavo out of the crib. Gustavo goes back to his mansion to write another song, and they perform the new song, Shot in the Dark, one of the first songs that was unreleased. In a 2022 interview, Kendall had this to say about why it was never released.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why they never released them. I mean, geez. That just goes to show that we were not deciding that because we would have obviously put those songs out.
It's also possible that the reason it's unreleased is because the song isn't featured in the end credits of the episode. So the original writer of the song is uncredited. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
Don't you miss the comforts of your home and not ours?
Song debut, Shot in the Dark. Favorite moment is Gustavo. You can tell that Stephen Kramer Glickman is just having the time of his life with this episode. It's awesome. Big time dance. It's the end of the year at the Palmwood School, and nobody is excited about the end of the year party, as Camille says it's lame and Bitters is the entertainment. So the guys plan a school dance at Rock Records, on the condition that they perform live and get stage practice. Now I can split the story into 3 plots one more time. Joe is anticipating that Kendall's gonna ask her to the dance, but he instead asks her to get snacks and party supplies. Kendall needs to find a chaperone for the dance, and his mom, Mrs. Knight, agrees, when Katie suggests that she should bring a date to the dance. Kendall and Katie work together to get their mom a date. They try to get her a date online, only for it to be Bitters. The doctor's convention at the Palmwoods. Mrs. Knight is flattered, but she says the only guy she'd go out with is Fabio, thinking that they couldn't pull it off.
Okay, let's search for Fabio and fake butter.
What the hell does that last part even mean? Fabio's advertising as seen on TV Grill, and they ask if he would go on a date with Mrs. Knight to the dance. Joe gets the snacks and party supplies, and Kendall asks her to theme the studio. Katie and Kendall kidnap Fabio, and he finally agrees to go to the dance. Carlos tries to ask out the Jennifers, but they all tell him no, only for them to change their minds and decide that Carlos will take them to the dance, but they want him to act as 3 different people. Stephanie asks Carlos if he's going to the dance, but since Carlos is frustrated over what he has to do with the Jennifers, he turns her down. Carlos then gets his disguises confused and breaks up with the Jennifers and dances with Stephanie. James encourages Logan to ask out Camille. Logan is nervous, so James tells him how easy it is by accidentally asking out a girl to the dance. James helps Logan by acting as his wingman, but Logan fails as Camille says that she wants to be asked out in a way that's original and not James's cue cards or frisbees.
Ready? Go! Failure.
James helps Logan but is attacked by bees. Nothing works until Logan rides in on a fake horse with Kendall and James as the body. Joe tells Kendall how upset she is and how that he didn't ask her out to the dance only because Kendall thought they were already together. Then the guys perform the song Stuck. James is in trouble since he already asked out about 8 girls at the dance, and ending on that. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
Carlos! There's never been 3 people before!
Favorite moment is the guys performing Stuck, which is the song debut for this episode. Big time Sparks. Jordan Sparks is staying at the Palmwoods and is also recording a new song with Gustavo, but Gustavo wants the guys to stay away from her because they're bad luck.
What? That is so not true. Sorry.
James breaks a mirror and is convinced that he has 7 years of bad luck. Kendall saves Jordan from falling only for Joe to get jealous. Logan and Carlos form the Good Luck Patrol. Kendall tries to set up a picnic for Joe to make up for what happened earlier, while Logan and Carlos are on patrol. That suit must have so much cat hair on it, it would give this guy a heart attack. Kendall saves Jordan from the cat, and Joe gets jealous again. James tries to search for a lucky clover, while Tyler dances like a leprechaun. Jordan is having trouble figuring out her new song, so she goes to the Palmwoods wishing well for good luck. Kendall is setting up a game of horseshoes for him and Joe, but James tries to take the horseshoe for good luck, and they end up knocking Jordan down the well. The guys plan to save Jordan themselves, so Gustavo doesn't find out. They try lowering Kendall down the well, but James finds a 4-leaf clover, and Kendall falls down the well. Joe asks James, Carlos, and Logan where Kendall went, and when she sees that Kendall's in the well with Jordan,
It's not what it looks like!
Kendall hopes that Logan has a genius plan, but he falls down the well too. Favorite quote here?
Rescue plan as we speak.
What was that? Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Carlos thinks of a plan where they fill the pool with water so they float to the top, but when Carlos throws James the hose, he falls down the well too. Carlos falls down the well because...
What'd you do that for? I was lonely.
So since they're all stuck in the well, they manage to figure out Jordan's song. B-plot real quick. Gustavo is sent a gift, only for it to be a skunk, sent by his rival, Ian Hawke, played by Phil Lamar, a new character, who wants Gustavo to have Jordan quit Rock Records and record at Hawk Records. In return, Hawk can send someone to get rid of the skunk. Gustavo refuses and has Kelly and Freight Train help catch the skunk. Freight Train gets called to get the guys and Jordan out of the well. Gustavo tries to get rid of the skunk with an RC car but fails. Freight Train mentions the skunk to the guys, so they take care of the skunk for Gustavo.
How did you do that?
We catch stuff all the time in Minnesota.
As a person who was born, raised, and lives in Minnesota, I've literally never heard of anybody going out to catch a skunk. Jordan tells Gustavo that the guys helped her figure out the song, and they have Jordan perform the song featuring BTR. Song debut is Count on You featuring Jordan Sparks. Episode rating. Favorite moment, Logan and Carlos as the Lucky Patrol. Logan is smart, but sometimes he can act like an idiot, and that's probably my favorite part of his character. Big time fever. There's a heat wave, and the guys are having fun messing with Bitters since he put up a no swimming allowed rule. Camille tells Logan, Carlos, and Kendall how she admires that Hollywood hasn't changed them, but then James goes to the pool with an orange spray tan. Camille says that James has Hollywood fever, meaning he has been changed by Hollywood. Kendall, Logan, and Carlos tell James that he has a problem. James argues he hasn't changed, but he's still using the Barracuda man spray. Katie takes advantage of the heat wave by having a snow cone stand, and Bitters gets jealous after Katie makes a ton of money. All the guys go to Rock Records to record, and Gustavo is furious with James. And if Kendall, Logan, and Carlos don't fix James's Hollywood fever, he'll be replaced. Logan finds out that the tanning sprayer dissolves in water, so they grab water guns to cure James. Logan talks to Guitar Dude asking if he's seen James, and stops trying to find James and instead becomes a hippie. No, wait. That's Logan now. Carlos sees that blonde Jennifer is missing, and it's because of the heat wave. Carlos then becomes the third Jennifer. Now that all three of the members have Hollywood fever, Kendall realizes that Hollywood fever is just a fancy term for homesickness. So Kendall asks Katie for a huge amount of ice to fill the Palmwoods Park with fake snow to remind the other guys of where they came from. Then the huge snowball fight they have cures the guys of their Hollywood fever. Episode rating. Favorite quote.
Everybody chill it out and hop aboard the Logan train. Woo woo! To Melloville. Bink.
Favorite moment, Logan as a hippie.
It doesn't matter, dude. You still have some apples, right? And Cindy, she has some apples too.
You know, he's got a point.
Big time video. The guys are about to star in their first music video, but since Camille is leaving the Palmwoods because she hasn't had an acting gig in a while, the guys try to get Camille a part in the video. Gustavo says no. He also says no to Marcos Del Pozzi, who wants to direct the music video. The guys panic and tell her that she got the part. And so many other kids are leaving the Palmwoods, so they tell them that they can be in the music video too. But since they have lied to so many people, it brings us to the best fourth wall joke ever.
Okay, so I panicked. We'll just put everybody in the background as extras or something.
Yeah, that is acting, right?
Yes!
While Gustavo gets pitched ideas by directors, they plan to kill the ideas.
Can't swim. Me neither. Afraid of sharks. I get nauseous just drinking water.
Katie goes to the Palmwoods Park and sees that Bitters has the park closed off so he can show off his new car. The guys try to make the music video themselves, but their friends think it was horrible.
That is the worst music video ever.
We know.
Marcos thinks the same. So since it's Marcos' dream to direct a music video, the guys hire him to direct. The guys also need a car as a part of their music video. So Katie and Marcos trick Bitters into thinking he's posing for a magazine. They then lock Bitters in the trunk of his car for the guys to use in the music video. They trick Gustavo so they can use his film crew and shoot a better music video. They shoot the music video for The City Is Ours, and Gustavo approves of the music video, and even Marcos is directing. Bitters charges Gustavo for the damages to the car, and Gustavo buys the car. The episode ends with the guys driving in LA with Bitters still in the trunk, since Logan still has his loaner's permit. Episode rating. Favorite moment, the guys trying to kill the ideas that the directors bring to Gustavo and the guys. Favorite quote.
You are not mad at me. You are not mad at me.
Song debut, The City Is Ours. Big time concert. The guys prepare for their first tour. Gustavo's boot camp isn't easy, but the guys have to work hard, so they pull themselves together and get ready to go on tour. When they present themselves to Griffin, he tells everyone that the music division is dead.
Big Time Rush is dead.
because it's too risky and expensive. The boys say goodbye to their friends at the Palmwoods, Kendall and Joe have their goodbye, Logan gets slapped by Camille, and James is delusional.
I am dreaming. You are not real. The concert's in a week.
With Big Time Rush being a dead band now, they move back to Minnesota. Kendall tells them that they have to move on, while James wants to keep the band going. Kendall gets offered a hockey scholarship, Logan works on being a doctor, Carlos works on being a superhero, James ignores the guys and rides a bike around town until crashing into Ian Hawke, who plans to destroy Gustavo and Big Time Rush. Gustavo and Kelly are now recording children's audiobooks and try to find a way to buy BTR back for $2 million. Gustavo and Kelly get the guys back, but they hesitate for a minute. The guys agree and they go back to LA, living at Rock Records since there's no money for the Palmwoods, and Gustavo had to sell everything to buy the band back.
We're eating PB&J on Fox Furniture.
The guys go to the Palmwoods and see Joe and Camille. They look for James, who's living in 2J, and says he's working with Hawke now, and since Kendall told James to move on, he did. James is the new pop star at Hawk Records, but James realizes he doesn't even have to record, and he's made to look fake. Hawke tells James that he doesn't need to go back to BTR, since the three guys are trying to replace him. The auditions go terrible, and the last guy almost gets the role, but is fired because he's a devil worshipper. They realize BTR can't be a trio, but James ends up coming back. The guys have all their friends advertise the new concert, and the guys are ready for their first concert.
Have we ever let you down?
So do companies have to pay to use the Karate Kid pose? Also, when will Carlos make his appearance in Cobra Kai? Hawke and his assistant Rebecca kidnap the guys so they'll be late to the concert, but Carlos manages to escape. The guys get to their concert last minute and perform live. Now, am I the only person out there who thinks that this version of Famous is way better than the single version of Famous? Gustavo gets offers by a lot of investors and Griffin buys them back. The concert is a success, and the guys get chased by hundreds of fans, and their album is released. And the musical journey continues in Season 2. Episode rating. Favorite moment is the performance of Someday and Famous. Favorite quote.
I thought the training was kind of fun.
That's your concussion talking.
And that was every episode of Big Time Rush Season 1 reviewed. I hope my reviewing wasn't too confusing, and my rating system was good as well. Season 1 had 18 episodes, 16 that I rated oh yeah, and 2 that I rated meh. Season 1 was a great start for the series. Now that I reviewed all these episodes, I'm super hyped for the big time concert I'm about to see very soon. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe some other time I can take a look at Seasons 2, 3, and 4 of Big Time Rush, but in the meantime I have some other videos coming out very soon. So make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm Blake at SuperBlakeFilms, and I'll catch you guys later.